A glittering anniversary celebration inside a grand cathedral turns into a nightmare when a powerful executive thinks he can silence his pregnant wife with a vicious punch in front of 600 witnesses. He believes his wealth will protect him. He believes no one will dare intervene. But what he doesn't know is that the silver-haired woman stepping through those cathedral doors is the one person who can destroy everything he's built. And she's been searching for her daughter for 30 years. This is a story of brutal truth, a mother's return and justice that strikes harder than his fist ever could. Tell us what time you're watching and where you're tuning in from. Drop a comment below. We want to hear from you. The chandeliers inside Holy Trinity Cathedral cast golden light across marble floors where 600 guests celebrated the Bennett Foundation's 10th anniversary. Sophia Bennett stood at the podium, 7 months pregnant, her hand resting protectively on her belly. Her emerald dress flowed gently over her stomach as she thanked the wealthy donors filling the pews. Behind her, Richard Bennett smiled his practiced smile. Navy suit, perfect hair, the image of success, but anyone watching closely would see his jaw tighten when Sophia's voice faltered mid-sentence. She was struggling, the pressure in her belly intensified, her breath caught. The microphone picked up her soft gasp. Richard stepped closer, whispering through clenched teeth. "Finish the speech, don't embarrass me." Sophia tried, she really tried, but the words wouldn't come, her vision blurred. Stars flickered at the edges, a few guests stood halfway, concerned. Then Richard snapped, his fist drove forward with brutal force. The crack echoed through the cathedral like thunder. Sophia's head snapped sideways, her body twisted in the air before crashing onto the marble steps. The sound of impact silenced 600 people instantly. Blood appeared at her temple, her hand flew to her stomach. A cry tore from her lips as pain ripped through her abdomen. Chaos erupted, screams, phones raised, someone shouted for help. Richard stood over her, chest heaving, voice booming that no one had the right to interfere. Then the cathedral doors opened. A woman with silver hair stepped inside. Her posture was regal. Her eyes locked onto Sophia with an intensity that made the crowd part. She moved forward with quiet certainty, and something in the air shifted. Paramedics rushed Sophia to Memorial Hospital. The fetal monitor beeped erratically. Her breathing was shallow. Pain radiated through every nerve. In the ambulance, Richard climbed into the front seat, insisting she'd simply fallen, that she was overreacting to stress. The paramedic ignored him, focusing on keeping Sophia conscious. At the hospital, doctors surrounded her immediately. Nurses checked vitals. The baby's heartbeat flickered across monitors with frightening irregularity. Richard appeared, demanding privacy, insisting no visitors be allowed. Then the silver-haired woman entered the room. She placed her hand gently on Sophia's forehead. The touch was warm, safe. Sophia felt something she hadn't felt in years, genuine protection without conditions. "Who are you?" Sophia whispered weakly. The woman's eyes filled with tears. "My name is Catherine, I'm your mother." The words hung in the air like lightning. Sophia's heart raced. She'd grown up believing her mother had abandoned her. Every story about her mother came through Richard's cruel filter. He'd told her again and again that she'd been unwanted, unloved, alone. Catherine's voice broke. "I never left you. He took you from me. He manipulated legal documents, spread lies, pushed me out of your life when you were just a child. I've been searching for you for 30 years. Sophia stared, stunned. Tears blurred her vision. Everything she'd believed was built on lies. While Richard paced the hospital hallway, frantically calling his attorney and deleting videos from employees' phones, Detective Morgan Hayes arrived. Calm, professional, experienced. Hayes questioned Richard, who repeated his rehearsed lie. "She slipped on the marble. She's been unstable." But Hayes had already seen the viral video circulating online. The punch, the fall, the undeniable truth. Inside Sophia's room, Catherine handed Hayes a folder, medical records from years of hidden abuse. Bruises documented, injuries that didn't match Sophia's explanations. Evidence Catherine had kept while desperately trying to reconnect with her daughter. Then came the breakthrough. Hospital security found a device in the parking lot, a digital storage unit containing months of hidden camera footage. Richard had documented his own abuse. The videos showed him yanking Sophia's hair, shoving her into walls, screaming inches from her face while she protected her belly. The cathedral assault was captured in perfect clarity. Hayes reviewed everything. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable, airtight. Richard fled before the arrest warrant was issued. He drove to a remote cabin near the Canadian border, packing cash and offshore account information. He convinced himself he could disappear, but border patrol units were already closing in. Helicopters scanned the woods with thermal imaging. Detective Hayes led the tactical team that surrounded the cabin at midnight. When they breached the door, Richard panicked and fired wildly. The bullet struck an officer in the shoulder. More shots rang out as Richard bolted through the back door into the forest. The chase was brutal. Richard stumbled through darkness, branches tearing at his clothes, alcohol blurring his vision. Officers pursued relentlessly. Helicopter searchlights swept the trees. At a rocky dead end, cornered and desperate, Richard raised his weapon again. Hayes showed him a tablet screen, the video of the cathedral punch playing on loop. "It's over," Hayes said calmly. "There's nowhere left to run." Officers tackled him, handcuffs snapped. The forest fell silent except for medics rushing to help the wounded deputy. 5 days later, the courtroom was packed. Reporters lined the walls. Sophia sat beside Catherine, her mother's hand gripping hers tightly. Richard appeared in jail clothing, his face bruised from an assault by inmates who'd recognized him from the news. His eyes were hollow, defeated. The prosecutor played the evidence. Hidden camera videos, the cathedral footage in slow motion. The sound of impact echoed through the courtroom. People gasped, some wept. Sophia took the stand, her voice trembling but clear. "He isolated me from everyone. He controlled every part of my life. He convinced me I was worthless. That night in the cathedral, I thought he would kill our baby. I thought I would die." Catherine testified next, her voice breaking. "He stole 30 years from us. He told her I didn't want her. He built his control on lies and fear." Detective Hayes presented the evidence systematically. The bribery attempt, the escape, the shooting, the pattern of escalating violence. The jury deliberated 3 hours. Guilty on all charges. The judge's voice was firm. Life in prison, no possibility of parole. Richard's shout of protest was drowned out by the sound of deputies dragging him from the courtroom. Sophia collapsed into Catherine's arms, 30 years of grief and fear finally releasing in trembling sobs. That evening, Sophia sat on Catherine's porch, wrapped in a blanket. Her hand rested on her belly. The baby kicked gently beneath her palm. The moon hung above the quiet neighborhood, casting silver light across the world. Catherine sat beside her, knitting quietly. "You're safe now," she whispered. "Both of you?" Sophia looked at her mother, this woman she'd been told didn't exist, didn't care, didn't love her. "We have time now," Sophia said softly. "Time to know each other." Catherine smiled through tears. "All the time in the world." The baby moved again. Sophia whispered to the life growing inside her. "You'll know your grandmother. You'll know love without fear. You'll know truth." Above them, the stars emerged one by one, filling the darkness with light. If you or someone you love is trapped in silence, know this. Your voice deserves to be heard. Your pain is real. Your safety matters. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is available 24/7. You are not alone. You are not weak for asking for help. You're brave. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do is whisper the truth when the world demands your silence. Drop a heart in the comments if this story touched you. Share it with someone who needs to know that healing is possible, that truth wins, and that love, real love, doesn't hurt. Let's be the generation that breaks the silence together.